Tamina mina, waka waka, Tamina mina sangalila, anamaka, Tamina mina, waka waka, Tamina mina sangalina. This time for Africa. Who remembers that song? You're all singing with me. Who remembers that? That was when we had our World Cup. Yes. World Cup in Africa for the first time ever. I know I was very excited because, like, first and foremost, I like football. I like sports, all right? Yeah, go girl. And for me, they're bringing this into Africa. So I remember Nokia and DSTV had a partnership, and they said that you can watch the World Cup on your phone. Unfortunately, the times that we playing the games I wanted was in my office time, so I went and buy it so that I could be watching during my break time and sometimes during work. Forgive me, but it was like, this was fun. And for me, why is this important? Why am I sharing this story? I'm talking about what if African cities could speak? What would they say? What would these African cities say? And for me, I am a travel enthusiast, and I'm in love with my continent, Africa. That's why I do what I do. And I'm going to be sharing some of my stories from 3 cities I have been to here in Africa. And at the end of it, I'm going to share what I think they would say if we all learned more about them. So the first one definitely has to be about Lagos. Lagos is where we are today, and Lagos is one of the most bubbling African cities. Now, when you talk about Lagos, one of the things I did when I went to Lagos was, here in Lagos, the keke experience in Lagos. Now, I know they've banned keke, but there's some places that still have them there. Now, this experience, why do I like it? It enabled me to explore within Marina, inside the islands of Lagos. And we went to places like Nikke Art Gallery. We went to Lekki. Nikke Art Gallery is where you have all the artworks done by artists in Africa. And then Lekki Market too is where you also buy artifacts, crafts, souvenirs from Africa. And that was nice. We also got to eat authentic food. Now, I'm a foodie I don't know how to describe that, but I love food, and I love to try local food. We ate amala with begiri, all right? I mean, at the local bukas. Those are the experiences that one should have when you go to other countries. If I go to China, I won't go looking for amala, because I know that fine, I'm in China, I want to try something else. So for me, it was nice that we're trying African food. Now, that's for Lagos, right? Now, let me go to the eastern part of Africa. I've been to Seychelles. I went there for my honeymoon, and it was a very beautiful place. In fact, I told my husband that when we're retiring, we're going to go to Seychelles. Why is that? It's very peaceful. In fact, they don't have factories in Seychelles. You cannot come and say you want to build a factory in Seychelles. Why? They are preserving their tourism, their culture. So it is actually authentic. It's just the way it is. There are beaches you can look inside and see fish swimming inside. In fact, you may even see octopus with your own eyes. That's how they're preserving it. And for me, one of the cities to visit in Seychelles is Victoria City. Now, Victoria City is small and very homely. You can visit places like the marketplace. They have their Victoria marketplace there, where you can buy Seychellian artifacts and souvenirs. You can also visit their museums. You get to learn about the history of Seychelles over there too. Another thing you can also do is that you can visit what we call the Little Big Ben. So who knows Big Ben in London? They have their own small Big Ben. It's like a township clock for them there. Those are the places you can visit and explore when you're in Seychelles. Now, let's go down to the south of Africa. So I've been to so many places in South Africa, but my most beautiful place was Zimbabwe. Why did I say that? I mean, if you're going to go to Zimbabwe, I would advise you to go to Victoria Falls. Now, Victoria Falls is a wonder. It's a beauty that God created, and when you're going there, I would advise you to do 2 things. Please fly a helicopter above the Victoria Falls to experience it. It is so beautiful. I actually cried while I was up there because I saw the beauty of God, of what He created with the waterfalls, and it was amazing. Then, of course, when you're done with seeing it from above, come down. Go up and close and personal. Go into the Victoria Falls itself. Feel the showers falling down on you. It's what we call, the names they call the Victoria Falls is the smoke that thunders, because while the water is pouring down, you're seeing smoke coming out, and it's actually splashing on you. That's how beautiful this thing is. So now I finished sharing these 3 cities for you, and for me, I've shared them with you because I have experienced them. But what can we do when we're talking about tourism? How can we improve these cities so that people can actually come and explore them? Because when you talk about Africa cities, most people think about poverty. Most people think about bad roads. They think about insecurity. Yes, they're happening. But guess what? Other countries too are exploring. Even like countries that are having war, people still go there and explore, and their tourism is still moving. So one of the things I like to share is that, did you know that tourism, it actually provides 1 to 10 jobs in every industry? When you're talking about any industry, tourism provides at least 1 to 10 jobs. Another thing it does is that it provides at least export trade, because we're exporting things from other people's countries. I come to your country to enjoy myself. I want to buy something. I'm definitely buying and I'm sending it back to my country. It does that. It also provides development. Now, if I know that people are coming to my city to explore my city, I will do my best to ensure that I am developing it. For example, I can give Lagos State a good hands for that. They're doing a good job when it comes to developing the tourism side. They're trying to provide city security, provide at least well-built tourist destinations, which is very important when you want to talk about that. Another thing I would say that tourism does is also it helps with environmental protection. So there are countries like somewhere in Victoria Falls now, or in Zimbabwe when I went there. One of the things that they're preserving is their rhinos. They're white rhinos. Now this creature is actually extinct. I was fortunate to see a rhino, a white rhino, and it was beautiful to see that, okay, this thing exists. Because of tourism, they're preserving it. If we go to countries like Rwanda, another thing that they're preserving is their gorillas. Now gorillas has become extinct too. We actually have gorillas too here in Nigeria, in Calabar, but Rwanda has taken their time to say that, okay, we must build this thing. So they're preserving their culture, they're preserving their animals, their environment, which is very important when it comes to tourism. Now, if I want to go ahead, I'm going to share some statistics. Now, when it comes to tourism, a lot of countries in Africa are not harnessing it as much as we should. So far, the countries that are doing quite well, if you see there over there, are Cape Verde. Cape Verde has about 46%. They get revenue from tourism. And then Morocco is 18.9%. And then we have Seychelles, which is the highest, 65.5%. Now, the truth is that if countries take tourism seriously, African countries take tourism seriously, it will bring in foreign exchange, which will help to build up and boost our GDP, which is very important. For me, I keep saying this, tourism is our oil well that can never run dry. We have this, it's our way of life, it's our culture, it's our environment. So if we're going to harness this thing to help us build our cities, build our towns, build our countries, tourism is one of the best ways to do that, all right? Then now, we're talking about liftoff. Now, how can we use this? When we're talking about liftoff, we're talking about building up something, taking something from where it is to where it should be. Now, COVID-19 came in and really shook everything, especially the tourism and travel industry, because we couldn't move, we were restricted to go to places. So what can we do to ensure that we're building this? And for me, when I'm talking about that, I talk about 3 things in tourism space that we can do. 1, authenticity. 2, innovation. Then 3, visibility. Now let me break this down for you. How can we do that to ensure that we move from authenticity, move to innovation, and then move to visibility? Now, I have what I call the 3 Ps for sustainable tourism. And these 3 Ps are 1, people, 2, platform, and 3, profits. Now let me break them down. The tourism part, when we talk about people, that's the first point. We're talking about 3 types of people. Yeah, I'm all about 3. 3 types of people. Now we have the explorers and the travelers. Those who actually make the tourism move. With those who actually explore these cities. What can we do for them? We need to keep educating them, keep informing them, even entertaining them. If you don't have at least these 3 things for them, why would they want to visit your city, all right? Another thing that we should do when it comes to people is the tourism businesses, the tourism and hospitality businesses, tour operators, travel agents, hotels, aviation. If they create policies that will make things easy for them, then they will thrive. Like some people heard complaining that, okay, we create policies and it affects our businesses. The right policies need to be created so that at least these industries, these organizations can actually thrive in tourism space and ensure that people are coming, having where to travel to with the right cost of flights, because flights within Africa is quite expensive. If they can create policies that will help make it easy for people to fly, why not? All right. Then another way for the people is government and regulatory bodies. The Ministry of Tourism for each country in Africa, the tourism boards, and even tourism associations. They are the ones that will create these policies that will make things easier. But the sad thing is that, from my observation, is that most of the people in this industry, in the tourism, travel, and hospitality industry, are not even aware. They don't really have the information that they should. They're not really educated. So for me, we're seeing round pegs in square holes. We need to put the right people in these associations, in these organizations, in this ministry, so that they will know, okay, these people know this thing. We know how it works, so that they can create policies that will make this easy for us here in Africa. Then the second point we're talking about is platforms. Now, we can have all the serere, everything there, but if we don't have the right platforms to make these things happen, they're useless. Now, with how the world is becoming, we've become virtual. So for me, we need to utilize the virtual platforms to ensure that these happen. And how can we do that? First, we can have virtual tours. Now, virtual tours where you have people actually seeing things through Google. So please next slide. You see a lady here with this. She's actually seeing a tourist destination through Google's, right? Ensuring that, okay, this virtual tour, people are seeing it. So even though I'm not there, I've not been in your country before, I have an idea of which tourist site is. So what I did, the first time I did a virtual tour, I went to Abeokuta and I went to Olumorok. I found myself actually climbing up. I'm not there, but I was virtually climbing up and entering the mountains and climbing the stairs. It was a wonderful experience. A bit scary at the beginning, but I later got used to it. But the truth is that it gave me that inspiration, like, okay, this is how Olumorok looks like. So if I'm not being there, I have the idea it is. Another way to do so is also host virtual tours online. Now, I remember I actually traveled to Iceland recently, but I wasn't in Iceland. I had someone who actually did a Zoom tour of Iceland, and she showed us places live. It was live. She took us to the marketplace, to the event place, and I felt like I was in Iceland. In fact, I was not inspired to want to go to Iceland. We need to utilize this kind of opportunities to ensure that we're showing people what we have. So even though we can't come because of these COVID-19 restrictions, travel restrictions, we have an idea of how these places look like, and hey, who knows, be inspired to come there and explore. Then another platform I would say that we should use to ensure that we're making this, making our cities visible to the right people, is hosting things like virtual events. Now, when I say virtual events, you can have things like online conferences. Like I host tourism virtual summits that educate tourism entrepreneurs or tourism entities about tourism destinations. And also, you can host like festivals. There's this person called, this group called Nomadness Travel Tribe. I remember I attended last year during the lockdown. I attended a festival online. It's called the Audacity Fest, and I saw a lot of tourism businesses do some exchange of information, sharing products that they had virtually, hosting conferences that make people have awareness of the countries they're in. All right, so that's another way. Then the third way to do that using virtual platforms is marketplaces, virtual marketplaces, to ensure that people actually are doing B2B, that's business to business, sharing information, or business to customers. Customers are saying, okay, I'm selling souvenirs, how am I going to use these things, right? Then the last point, which is the third point, is profits. Now we may have the people, we have the platforms, how can they make the money? All right, money from the part of the producers and then the consumers. And one way to do that is to help tourism businesses is tourism banks. Now we have tourism businesses that want to start a business and they don't have the money to do so. They go to banks asking for a loan. Unfortunately, tourism is seen as a long-term investment, so a lot of banks will not give you money for that. Like, oh, this is tourism, it takes time. So another way we can do this to help all these tourism businesses who need to bring people into their country to see what they're happening, like a tour operator, is having a tourism business, tourism banks, right? Banks that they're designated to help tourism businesses, to give them loans or grants to be able to help them to build their businesses, right? Then another way you can do that is also creating tourism incubators. Now, like I said, these industries, these businesses need to create the opportunities to say, okay, I want you to come to my country. I don't have the money to build this platform or to do this thing or to get this bus. We can have people that will start a tourism incubator that that will teach these tourism businesses what they need and also offer them grants, right, that will help them build their business. Another way too to help them to make profit is also hosting a tourism crowdfunding platform where people can say, okay, fine, I need money to raise this for my business and to make it possible, and then we get a crowd of people, our community members and friends, to help us raise money. My company, Nene-Uwa Hub Ltd, is creating a tourism crowdfunding platform that will help tourism businesses to build their, at least have money to raise money for themselves to build their businesses so that people can come and use their products and their services. And then to wrap this all up right now, the topic is, if African cities could speak, what would they say? All right, so I've mentioned at least 3 cities, and one of them is Lagos. So if African cities should say this, what would Lagos say? And this is what I did. I went out to some of my community members in the tourism space and asked them the same question. What would you say that Lagos would say if they ask you if African cities could talk? And this is what some people say, that I put it together. For Lagos, they said, I'm a vibrant city that never sleeps. Come for a good time, but not a long time. Interpret that yourself. Then for Victoria Falls, I asked some of my people in my community, what would you say if you went to Victoria Falls? What do you think Victoria Falls would say? And this is what they said. I am a beauty. I am a speck. I am a wonder. Even the angels in heaven could not keep their eyes off me. Then if you're talking about Victoria City in Seychelles, what would the person say? All right, okay, I'm Victoria City, what would I say? And this is what my community members were saying. I'm a paradise. God placed me here to just show off. Come fall in love with me. Adupe, Eshe, Dalu, Asante, all the thank yous in Africa. Thanks for having me.